Hey, my Legion, how y'all doing today? I'm here today to review, talk about the latest episode of Silent Live that just premiered on NBC with Liev Schreiber hosting and Lil Wayne as musical guest. And as always, I take some notes so I don't forget any skits, because before I just did all from memory, I'd forget skits left and right. So I'd write down the skits and the parts of the show so I'd be able to review it bit by bit without forgetting anything. Well, I first start off with a cold opening with that Jeff Sessions, getting fired by Trump, and they show him leaving. Well, it's played by Kate McKinnon, whose character of Jeff Sessions I think is loved by a lot of people. She did a great job on that. It was okay. I think it was silly, but I think it went on for a little bit too long. But she did a great job. And then Robert De Niro came in as playing one guy, and it was all right. And they did that. He did that little bit, and then the president, a lot bit. It was okay. It ran on too long, but it was all right. I give it a 5 out of 10. Then they had like the new opening that they did, and next was the opening segment with Liev Schreiber coming out, and it looked like he was a little bit choked up at first, and he did his monologue. His monologue was genuine. He didn't try to do jokes or try to seem too jokey or anything like that or phony. He seemed more genuine. And then he talked about the election and how most people did the biggest turnout for a midterm election in like U.S. history. And it said it doesn't matter which side you're on. That's probably the most non-biased thing that they said outside live politically, It was okay. I give it a 5 out of 10. He seemed very genuine though. And the next was a segment of Good Day Denver, and they introduced this. They were supposed to be the Invest twins. They call them the Incest twins, and the jokes kind of got very risque. I mean, it's all double entendre jokes about that. And they meant to say invest, but they kept saying it in the graphics. That would end up being funny. It wasn't good in every section, but it was funny enough for me to give a 6 out of 10. It was funny. It was a little risque, but funny, though. But, I mean, this is like, late at night humor anyways. TV, I think it's TV 14, not TVMA. Next with another music video. They keep going to music videos all the time. And it was like about, we can't agree on, like, they're talking about the election, Republican, Democrat, but there's something we all agree on. It was just a music video. It was kind of lame. I didn't care for that at all. 3 out of 10. They always doing a dumb, lame music video parodies, and they do it too much. And next they did a paranormal study, which is somewhat similar to what they did before, and they had people talking about that. They had one person and Liev Schreiber, and then Kate McKinnon. And Kate McKinnon was the one that was told like the off-color jokes involving ghosts and stuff like that. And then the other guys had more normal stuff, and then a little bit of creative dialogue. And then she got up and put her butt in Liev Schreiber's face, and and I think it's purposely done because they've done it before to try to get the host to crack up, and he cracked up some. He's hiding his face behind her, and stuff. It was okay. Once again, that's just very repetitive thing they did. Maybe a 5 out of 10. Next is another music video. They just did one. They're running out of ideas. They're just doing one. They just did another. There's a second music video thing they did for Booty Kings. It was like a rap thing talking about women and stuff like that. But this one is like they had. It was like in a rap video for the Me Too movement. You know what I mean? Where they have to show respect, like the boundaries and permission, consent, and stuff like that. And then they didn't refer to women as they have to refer by the names. It wasn't very good, but I mean that was that with a different spin up. But there's a second music video parody. They just did one. And what's next? Another restaurant scene? Ugh. And they actually did one towards the end, but it was different. So but I'll get to that later. But I was surprised. 2 music videos things. I mean, the music video things got to stop, and they just repeating themselves over and over again. Next was Lil Wayne. It was okay. I think the girl that sang had a really nice voice. I know Lil Wayne most of all from when he was on Celebrity Apprentice. When I used to watch that before. I remember him from that, and he was all right in that. But I did like at the very end. He said, "Veterans, thank you." He said, "Thank you, the veterans," at the very end of the song. That was great. Because I'll give that a 5 out of 10. Next was Weekend Update, and it first started out with like bias stuff about, the election and stuff, and they had a couple silly jokes, and then it ended up the way it ended. The last segment was absolutely brilliant because I didn't see Weekend Update last week. I didn't see Silent Live last week because I was hanging with my buddy John. And because of god-awful weather, which shocked the hell out of me, it was that bad, John actually canceled. And we actually got over a foot of snow today, like 13 inches of snow. And we got the most, I live on a snow belt, so does John. John lives further away than I do. But he canceled, so I was able to do, it sucked though, but I was able to do a Silent Live review. Well, anyways, last weekend, Pete Davidson did a joke about Lieutenant Commander Dan Crenshaw and his eye patch and stuff like that. And a lot of people thought it was out of line and offensive. They talked about it on CNN, and then they had interviews with Kenan Thompson, and Kenan Thompson said that that's not something he would have done. And that's not a joke that he would have done. And they said it was mean-spirited. Well, they had Pete Davidson come in to apologize for what happened. They set up what happened, and he came in and apologized, and he said, yeah, he's a jerk and stuff like that. And then all of a sudden, Commander Dan Crenshaw came on, and that was fantastic. And he said, no hard feelings. And then you saw him, Dan Crenshaw had a ringtone. It was Ariana Grande song. That was a perfect burn because Ariana Grande and Pete Davidson were going together for like 4 months or so. They engaged, goofy pairing, but oh well. And then they broke up. And that was perfect. I think Ariana Grande would have liked that. That was perfect. And then he did a couple zingers about Pete Davidson. And then he talked about the veterans. They said, for the veterans, along with thank you, say never forget. And then he mentioned that, something I didn't know. I got choked up a little bit. Pete Davidson's dad was a firefighter, and he lost his life in 9/11. And he mentioned that 9/11 to Pete Davidson's dad, and they both shook hands, said never forget. That was brilliant. That's probably one of the best things I've seen on Saturday Night Live in a long time. I was pleasantly surprised by that and touched. That was wonderful. Because I was really going to give the Weekend Update maybe a 4.5 out of 10. But I give that a 10 out of 10. Oh, also, they're choked up a little bit. They had the thing about the page grabbing the microphone. It's really nice looking, too, in the White House. From that guy from CNN. And they did a spoof of that, and it was so funny. And then she came back, and she said, you're banned from the White House. I forgot to mention this. I want to talk about the ending part. And he said, why? And he said, well, for hitting me. And they said that they had the video. Because they had a video that the White House said he doctored. It made it look like that guy from CNN gave her a karate chop on the arm like that when he did it. He would kind of brushed her arm away. But he didn't strike her or nothing. And they showed the video. The video is so silly and over the top. That was brilliant. That had me laughing. And they had a couple jokes on there that was funny. But, I mean, that gets a 10 out of 10. That Lieutenant Commander Dan Crenshaw thing was brilliant. That's how you do an apology if you make a mistake. That's how you do an apology. That was fantastic. I love that. So that was the best thing on Silent Live right there. Next was the potties. And I thought that was like a award show. I thought it was something about going to the bathroom or stools or in the toilet or something like that. No, it was about podcasts. And it was all about, the podcast. It was okay. The only thing that was good, the guy came on and did a Mark Maron impersonation I thought was pretty good. So, but I mean, aside from that, it was kind of, I think it was just a time killer. I give it maybe a mild 4 out of 10. Next was House Hunters about picking a house, and that was just silly. I mean, nonsensical silly. It wasn't hilariously funny, but I'm glad they tried to do something just silly. So I get that a 7.5 out of 10. This is trying to get too silly. The next was the Fighting Brothers. This couple was over at this guy's house, and farted. And then all of a sudden they had a brother. They fight a lot, and they fight. And they were fighting. Oh, they're choking each other. And Liev Schreiber had a hose and was spraying them down, and then everyone started. That one girl they were cracking up. Everyone started cracking up a little bit. Trying to line. That scene was okay. It wasn't super funny, but I give that a 6 out of 10. Next was another performance by Lil Wayne, and this one was a lot more energetic. There was more energy in the show. And it was actually much better than the other performance. I give that a 6 out of 10. And then the last skit, like I said, was a restaurant one kind of, but they did something different, which I appreciate. It's like this guy had like this talk show, kind of like something probably be on. They put videos on YouTube or something like that. Dave's outside the women's bathroom where he would be outside and he would interview women and stuff. And his date was all mad at him. And it was okay. I mean, I can get credit for doing something a little different. I think Liev Schreiber kept blowing his line because he was trying to talk really fast. And he was kind of blowing his lines a little bit. But it was all right. I give that a 4 out of 10. Overall, the Saturday Night Live was decent. But that last ending stuff on Weekend Update, some of the Weekend Updates, especially how they ended it with the apology, really blew me away. I give it a 6.5 out of 10. So there you have it for my thoughts on the SNL that Liev Schreiber hosted. It just premiered on NBC. I hope you liked this video, my analysis. So until next time, everybody, please take care of my legion. All right, baby. Cool.